Many people worry that they're doing it wrong. Have you ever felt that way? You're like, I've put in so much effort, but why is it not working? Why am I still feeling stuck? Why am I not progressing in my emotional healing the way that I think I should be? Insight is valuable, but it was never designed to do the entire job. So insight is not useless, it's just incomplete. So here's the reality. Insight does bring awareness and meaning, but the issue isn't about your effort or your intelligence. And so a lot of times when you exert willpower in a certain area of your life and you're feeling like, man, I continue to sabotage, it is not that you're doing it wrong and the insight alone is just not cutting it. So that's what we're going to get into today. Here's what it sounds like. I understand it, but I still feel it. I understand it. I understand why it's there, but I still feel it. Why do I still feel it? Why do I feel like it's not resolved? I know where this is coming from, is another thing that I hear people say. I've already talked this through, sometimes, maybe for years. I've done years of therapy on this already. Does that sound familiar? My body still reacts. My body is still reacting. I still get triggered. These are some of the things that you might have told yourself, or maybe you've heard this from others. So, insight works in the thinking brain, in your conscious thinking brain. So, it helps you to make sense of patterns, it helps you to connect the past and the present, and it reduces confusion. But it primarily engages the cognitive part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex part of your brain, the rational part of your brain. But the emotional patterns actually reside in your body and your nervous system. So emotional memory is stored somatically, physiologically. Emotions are actually physiological. They're tiny little information substances that can be all throughout the body. So your emotions, literally, and the emotional memories are carried in your body. So patterns form around safety and threat and protection, and this is often subconscious. And so the nervous system doesn't respond to your logic, your cognitive thinking brain, your rational mind, the way that your logical brain does. So when you're talking about something, you can rationalize, you can talk it through, you can, come up with solutions. But sometimes the body actually doesn't follow that because the nervous system doesn't respond in that way. So, why do patterns repeat? Well, the nervous system prioritizes safety, not insight. So, even though you might understand and have a very strong understanding of why you do the things that you do, perhaps the things that you don't want to do, right? The nervous system is not so much interested in that as it is the sense of safety. And this is why you will often feel that fight, flight, or freeze response engage because your nervous system is not feeling safe. So, familiar patterns are equivalent to known outcomes. And even painful patterns can feel safer to your subconscious than the unknown. So, let's say, for example, hypothetically, the unknown is most likely going to be a really positive outcome, something that's really good for you, something that's really healthy for you, and yet you still resort to the familiar thing that's actually causing you a lot of pain. Why are you doing that? Well, your subconscious is like, well, familiarity is predictability, predictability is safety and protection. So I'm going to default to the painful route, even though consciously you're like, I don't want to go that direction anymore. And we're going to talk about how to actually get out of that cycle in coming videos. So stay tuned. Repetition is not a sign of protection. It's not failure. So give yourself a little bit of grace here. Here's another crucial distinction. Awareness does not automatically create safety. So even if you have talked it through, let's say you talked it through with a talk therapist or, some type of healer or someone that, is helping you through emotional healing. And you're like, well, I have all this awareness, but I still don't feel safe. And I'm still responding, my body's responding in a way that I don't necessarily, it's not really aligned with my goals. So you can still be aware of something. You can be aware of something and still feel activated because the resolution hasn't taken place. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. Safety is a felt experience, not an idea. Without safety, the system won't release old patterns. And this is the number one reason why you might feel stuck, why I feel stuck sometimes, why we in general feel stuck is because we don't have that safety mechanism in place foundationally to release those emotional pains. And when it is, some radical things can actually transpire. So, why do people get stuck here? Well, a lot of healing approaches stop at that awareness piece. So, you become aware of something, you're like, oh, this is really empowering. And then you're like, well, but why do I still feel powerless? Because awareness is just the tipping point, it's just the beginning. It's almost like the doorway that leads you into the tunnel. And the tunnel is actually where the healing takes place, but you've just opened the doorway. So the awareness is the first step, but we need to walk through that tunnel of emotional healing and resolution to get out to get out to the other side of full resolution and full healing. So many methods will focus on talking it through. And again, this is just opening the door, right? Talking it through is opening the door, understanding the story, understanding why you do the things that you don't want to do and don't do the things that you want to do. Again, that is just opening the door, but it's not walking through the tunnel into the light. Reframing your thoughts. Again, that's opening the door. It's a really fantastic first step, but it's not the end. So these help, all these things help, but they don't actually resolve the emotional, physiological charge. So the missing piece is that resolution happens when the body feels safe, safe enough to let it go. When safety is present, the emotional charge can dissolve. And that's when the behavior that you want to do actually follows. So when you can dismantle the emotional charge because your body feels safe first, then you can actually align with that behavior. New neural networks are actually programmed into your mind, and you will actually take a different route, the route that you want to take behaviorally, because the emotional charge has been dissolved. And why is the emotional charge dissolved? Because your body felt safe. Okay. So those old patterns that you don't want to be there, they begin to lose their grip. There are chains that begin to be broken, and you can experience transformational, lasting freedom when that happens. And this is not done by force. This is a gentle process. It happens with permission and not force. So the bridge is utilizing the nervous system and nervous system based approaches. So some approaches are designed to work directly with subconscious patterning and nervous system regulation, and they can complement insight and awareness and understanding. They don't replace it, they complement it. We need both of them in place for true healing. So here is some reassurance. If insight hasn't resolved something for you yet, you haven't failed, you haven't done anything wrong. You've likely done a lot of meaningful work already, but you're still feeling stuck, and it's because the body just doesn't feel safe enough yet. Okay. There are deeper layers perhaps that simply require different inputs, more somatic inputs, things that are actually going to allow the body to feel like, oh, I can let my guard down here, and then I can let these emotions go and literally get them out of the body, because the issues are actually in the tissues. We're going to talk more about that later. But those deeper layers just require some different inputs that are not intellectual. They actually help the body feel safe. So timing follows that sense of safety. not your willpower. So I really hope that this plants a seed of stop beating yourself up, because if you've been willing yourself to do these different things and you feel like you're a failure, it's usually because this mechanism is a foundational thing that you just haven't been able to experience yet. So it's not a matter of willpower or that you're doing something wrong. Timing follows a sense of safety in your body. So here's just to recap what we've covered in this video, is that insight is not useless. It's just incomplete. Awareness does not automatically create safety, and repetition is protection, not failure. The nervous system prioritizes safety over logic. So the nervous system is always going to default to, does my body feel safe first? Then we'll listen to what the rational brain is thinking. But it's not going to follow, hey, my logical brain is saying everything's fine here. And so then the body's going to like, oh yeah, everything's fine. No, that's why there's a mismatch. That's why your body doesn't feel the way that you want it to feel yet. This might explain something that you've been noticing in your own personal healing journey, or perhaps in the life of others, maybe some loved ones, or like I said, if you're a practitioner, you might notice this in some of the clients that you've been serving. We all experience this because we're human. So what we're going to talk about next in the next video is what actually creates resolution. What will actually create that resolution, and why it can be and feel gentle, not forceful, why it can feel gentle. So we're going to talk about what creates that resolution and why it often feels much gentler than people expect. So if you have any questions or comments about anything that we covered in this video, please leave it in the comments below. And I am more than happy to answer any questions via video as well. So I'm happy to create more videos based on any questions that you have about emotional healing. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.